anybody here ever heard of the French Revolution before? That is another revolution because people started putting property over lives. They started putting money over people. Does anybody here know what happened to the people who did not get on board with the French Revolution? Say it louder. Say it louder. That is the message we need to send. We are serious. This is not a joke. I am tired of seeing my people be genocided by every definition of the word.
Don't you know what anarchy is? I'll slice your face off.
We live about a block from what has become CHAZ.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, like first I have to just say that I'm scared. Like I've been scared every day since Sunday, and I haven't gotten a lot of sleep because for the first time in my life in Capitol Hill, I hear gunshots every single night, and I've heard people screaming every single night outside. And they're not protest screams. I've heard protest screams, but I've also heard screams of terror out there, and I don't know what's happening out there. And it's just, that's rattling enough, just hearing the screams for the first time and not knowing what's going on.
Oi, stop it! Stop it! Stop it!
Stop, bro, just stop, stop. Don't run, bro.
Everybody, back up now!
The fuck is this shit? I just had my keys broken, stolen, got jumped, had my phone stolen, and these fucks let it all happen.
When the only constant in life is change, you need to be ready. This is the Man-Made Survival Show.
Hello everyone, my name is Jose Prado, Man-Made Survival. Thanks so much for coming back to the channel, watching this video. I really hope that you share this information with your friends and family, because what we're going to be talking about is going to be very, very important because of all the things that have been going on in the past 2 weeks and the things that seem to be headed for in the 4th of July. And we're going to get into that. All right, and we're going to go into detail on what you need to do to protect yourself, your family, and prepare for what could possibly happen and for the things that are happening. You know, the people in Seattle are living it today. All right, maybe you will live it in your town or your city in the next few weeks. All right, but before I go any further, I want to remind you about my book. It's Preppers Secrete Cache. You can go to www.preppersecretcache.com and you can order it from there, or you can just click the link below and get it from there as well. I just want to remind you that the book is absolutely free. All we need your help is with shipping. All right, and at a time like this, it's very important for you to get my book, or at least a book like it, all right, because of what we're going to be talking about today. When you get information like this, especially free, all right, you're going to get the know-how, you're going to get the things that you're going to get the list of things that you're going to have to stock up and the ways that you can prepare for what's going on, all right? So what I want to read to you from the book is something that we're going to be talking about today, and is very, very important right at this moment. In reality, your chances for survival are going to improve if you are part of a group. They can help you with food, water, clothing, shelter, and to come up with creative ideas to help all of you survive. It can be extremely tough to try to do it all on your own for you and your family. With an alliance, you can benefit from the strengths of each other. All right, because like I said, the things that we're going to be talking about today, they're not funny anymore. All right. All the developments, the way that everything is going, as we're going to be talking about in a minute, it's very important for you to prepare now if you have not already. So please share this information with your friends and family. Make it go out there. That way people can prepare. So again, the book is Preppers Secrete Cache. You can go to www.preppersecretcache.com or click the link below. All right, so what I'm talking about is everything that has happened with George Floyd until now, right? So about 2 weeks ago, you know, just to do a quick recap, George Floyd was pretty much killed by the police by the way that they handled him, right? And of course, the police are not justified. They had no right to do it. And if that is police policy on the way they handle individuals, then that needs to change. Because George Floyd is not the first person that they ever put their knee on their neck, or they handle them in that way to where they died. Hopefully he's the last one, right? Hopefully there'll be a change in policy. I'm for the change in policy because I've seen videos or I've seen video after video of people getting or being hurt by the police, you know, and I don't know why, but the police thinks that the more you hurt someone, the less they're gonna, you know, struggle, which is actually the opposite. If somebody hurts you or something hurts you, you're gonna try to get away from what's hurting you as much as you can. All right, so a video comes up into my mind right now when I said that. All right, it's real quick, you know, just in a bit of a rant. I saw a video of a guy that the police tried to taser and the taser didn't work. I mean, it did attach to his body and it hurt, but it didn't make him, you know, fall over as we've seen in other videos. All right, so this guy, of course, is in pain from being tasered, so he rips the thing off, rips the cables off, and he takes off running. Of course, the police go after him, they tackle him, and now he's on the ground. And he has both police officers on top of him with the hands behind his back. All right, so he's struggling, and they're just sitting on top of him, telling him not to struggle. Now, in the video, he's facing down on grass, right, and he cannot breathe. And he's gasping for it. He's trying to move so he can breathe, but he has two grown men laying on top of him, or, you know, kneeling on top of him. And they tell him to stop struggling, and then you can see his lungs, you know, try to expand as much as possible. Then they finally get off of him, and they realize that he's dead because he's suffocated. All right, those are the type of things that I'm for policy change. Because if it's policy for them to lay on top of people to the point where they're suffocated because they can't breathe from being laying down on the ground or on grass, whatever, then that has to change. I'm for it. All right, now, because of what happened to George Floyd, hopefully, he, like I say, he's the last person that ever happens to. And because of that, we saw the protest, all right? And the protest turned into riot. The people who were protesting, they were doing the right thing. The people who started rioting, that's where they were wrong, all right? So just as the police is not justified on what they did against George Floyd and against all the other videos that we've seen that have been posted online all throughout the past 2 weeks, all right, does not give them the right or the authority or the justification to do it. Now, the rioters, they don't have the justification. They don't have the right to loot property, to burn buildings down to the ground. They don't have the right to, you know, attack police and everything that we've seen. So both sides are wrong on that aspect. Now, the police policy can change. The rioters, of course, you know, they would have to be in prison, or at least that would be the right thing to do. So that created a movement, okay, of defunding the police. They were talking about abolish the police. We want nothing to do with the police. You know, it would be better if we patrol the streets ourselves and we come up with some type of community watch. And then, of course, that opened up the gates, or that opened up the way for what happened in Seattle. All that pressure from the public making the police stand down, or at least the governors and the mayors making the police stand down. Disarming the National Guard and sending them away, right? That opened up the way for the Republic of CHAZ to be born, right? Now, in the past, or from when that started last week up until now, it was funny until things started progressing in a certain way that it's taking a very ugly turn, all right? So that's what we're going to be talking about today. Of you need alliances, as I read in the book, all right? That's the reason why you need to have the book like that, like mine. You need to have my book so you can learn the things that's in it. So we're going to talk about alliances, because in a time like this, it's when you're going to, it's going to be the time you need friends. Okay? Now, I'm going to talk about the prepping first, and then I'm going to talk about the articles and all the things, how they're progressing, because it seems that by the 4th of July, we may have a civil war. It seems that way. All right, and it's not the government against the people of CHAZ, but rather the citizens against citizens. Okay, so first off, what I want to point out is you need to have alliances with your friends, with your family, church members, you know, school friends, I don't know, you name it, you know who your friends are. And then you're going to have to come together, and you're going to have to make a plan. Either you get out of the city or you stay in the city. The best thing to do is just to get out, to bug out, okay? You need to grab one of the bug out bags, if you own one. If you don't, you need to own one. You need to grab a bug-out bag and get out of there. All right. So the options for getting out of Dodge is you move to, or not move, but you go visit family outside of the city. You know, preferably in the country, and you know, you go with them and you wait for all this to blow over. Especially if you're not working because of coronavirus, it would be a lot easier to just go. Okay. So you need to go ahead. If you live in Seattle or in the surrounding area of those 6 city blocks that have been conquered, I guess you could say, you need to go ahead and make plans right now, if you have not already, to get out of there, to have a place to go. You know, if you have the resources, then you can just go rent a hotel room, or just you can go to a state park and camp there for another 2 weeks, or however long this is gonna take. If that's an option, if you want to leave, if you could leave. All right, now let's go to the other side, and let's say you cannot go, you will not go, you don't want to go, whatever the reason may be, or the excuse, you're gonna stay behind and you're gonna stay where you live. And if you live within the proximity of the new Republic of CHAZ, then you have to be very careful. That's when the alliances are going to come in, and you have to plan security for you and your family. Now, if you do not agree with what's going on in CHAZ, you're going to have to keep your mouth shut, because you are outnumbered by very many people. All right? We've seen video after video of people getting attacked, preachers that have come in, people with the flags that have gone in, you know, just different groups. They have been attacked, and they have been kicked out of the zone. All right, and the police will not do anything about it. They are receiving calls, and you know, because they're not there anymore, there's nothing you can do. You're gonna be on your own. If you're within those city blocks, or you're in the surrounding area, you have to make sure that you survive. All right, right now your political views or the way you think, right now it does not matter. Right now, what you have to do to survive is you need to blend in. All right, the whole concept of the gray man comes into play. So once you get that in your mind, that you cannot speak out and you have to, you know, pretty much blend in as much as possible, then you're gonna have to start stockpiling things. All right, and I'm gonna tell you, and I'm gonna show you the articles why in a minute. All right, but you're gonna have to stockpile your food and your water if you have not already. All right, take the advantage now that you are not working, if you're not working, or if at all possible, you know, if you get an EBT, you get any type of government help, use that towards your stockpiling, because and if you don't, then you're gonna suffer in the long run, and you might have to rely on the good people of CHAZ for you to get a meal, all right, or for you to have security. That's why you must have a group. This is where numbers count. All right, and you're gonna have to defend your property, which, you know, in the city, more than like this, apartment complexes or whatnot. All right. So, anyways, and businesses too. I mean, they're having a really rough time now. So, with that being said, let's recap. If you can get out, get out. That's the best way possible. I mean, that's the best thing to do, if at all possible. If you're gonna stay, make sure you stock up on your food, on your water, on your guns and ammo, all right, and on your alliances. And you have to have a plan for you to defend your property and to be able to get out of there if they burn the building to the ground or if they try to smoke you out. All right, that's going to be your biggest concern. And remember, you have to board up your windows, all right, except for the ones you're going to exit. You're going to have to make sure that the screws in your doors are the, you know, the at least the 3-inch, and they're going to be holding to your door very tightly. The other thing you can do, if you're able to, you need to change your door and make sure that it's a solid core, all right, because it's going to be tougher to break. And if you have to, you can pile anything you can in front of the door. You can put your couches on there, furniture from the door to the wall, and nothing will open that door. But you must make sure that you have an exit strategy, all right? If you're going to have to get out of the back door and you're going to have to shoot your way out of it, make sure you have all the bullets you need and you have the backup that you're going to need, all right? and you're gonna have to make sure that your place is defensible. All right, now that's pretty much all I got on the prepping. All right, so I'm gonna get into the articles that I was talking about. All right, here's my first one. It only took 2 days for Seattle's autonomous zone to descend into chaos. This from Zero Hedge. Protesters in Seattle decided that they were going to give us a living, breathing example of how the world should really operate. The police were completely kicked out of the 6-block area of downtown Seattle, and armed guards were posted at all the entrances to Capitol Hill Autonomous Zone in order to make sure that their utopia would not be interrupted. At first, people were dancing and singing in the streets. Free food was being passed out to everyone, gardens were being started, and free movies were being played at night under the stars. It was such a glorious beginning for CHAZ, but within hours, major problems began to develop. All right, so when I read that, you know, they're trying to make the best thing possible. And I came up to, or I found this video of South Park that I'm going to play real quick, you know, just to lighten up the mood a little bit. Here it is.
We don't need corporations. We don't need money. This can become a commune where everyone just helps each other. Yeah, we'll have one guy who makes bread, and one guy who he looks out for other people's safety.
You mean like a baker and a cop?
No, can't you imagine a place where people live together and provide services for each other in exchange for their services?
Yeah, it's called a town.
You kids just haven't been to college yet. But just you wait. This thing is about to get huge.
All right, so that's how people have been finding themselves in CHAZ right now. You know, they are talking about that the way that they're doing things is not sustainable. They're begging for food. They're asking people for supplies. You know, they have done a little garden. They have done other things to where it kind of defeats the purpose of their, you know, what they're doing and what they were talking about. They have come to find out in their own utopia that you need some type of system that can make it rely on itself to where it can keep going, because food is not free in CHAZ, you know, or at least it doesn't grow out of the trees, and there's no such thing as a free meal. People have to work for it, and they have talked about doing certain things that I think are despicable. All right, so the article continues on to say this. The protesters wanted to show everyone how compassionate they could be, and so they invited Seattle's homeless population to share their free food. Well, it turns out that the homeless people grabbed more of the food than they should have, and that created quite a crisis. In addition to a looming food shortage, residents of CHAZ are also dealing with a leadership crisis. Now that all the police are gone, it was just a matter of time before someone else took charge, and the person that has taken charge is a heavily armed rapper named Raz Zimone. Seattle's new autonomous zone, a 6-block area established by protesters after the police and National Guard pulled out of the city's Capitol Hill neighborhood, now has a heavily armed warlord, and he's already enforcing his streets. SoundCloud rapper Raz Zimone and his entourage have claimed the Capitol Hill Autonomous Zone, CHAZ, as their territory, and have already filmed regulating when a man wouldn't stop spray painting over an urban arts installation, telling him, "We are the police of this community now." Somehow Simone was able to get his hands on AK-47, and even though we keep being told that these are peaceful protests, Simone told those under his command that what they are facing is war. Simone, a local rapper with an AK-47 slung over his shoulder and a pistol attached to his hip, screamed, "This is war," into a white and red megaphone, and instructed armed paramilitaries to guard and barricade in shifts. All right, so that on itself right there goes on to prove the reason why we must protect the Second Amendment, all right? Because the criminals have the guns. They have the big, long, scary guns, all right, in a democratic place, in a democrat, under a democratic mayor and a democratic governor, in a democratic city, all right? Because they're the ones pushing no guns, gun control, gun confiscation, and all those things, all right? They are. And it's very ironic that now that they have a city that has been taken over, all the people in those places created borders, and they are armed with long, scary guns, okay? I'm pretty sure they're going to have more than 30 rounds in it. So that is the reason why you must be armed. That is the reason why you must be able to protect yourself, all right? That is the reason why you must protect from this day on the Second Amendment. Because without it, people like CHAZ, they're going to take over, and they're going to tell you that now they are the police. As that guy said, wasn't the whole purpose of the protest and saying defund the police, the whole point of doing that? And, they got the community watch people that they wanted. There it is, All right, so moving on to the next article. Republic of CHAZ begins reparations. White participants pressured to give blacks $10 each. This also from Zero Hedge, and I have a video for that. Here it is.
Okay. I want you to find by the time you leave this autonomous zone, I want you to give $10 to one African American person from this autonomous zone. And if you find that's difficult, if you find it's hard for you to give $10 to people of color, to black people especially, you have to think really critically about, in the future, are you going to actually give up power and land and capital when you have it? If you have a hard time giving up $10, you got to think about, are you really down with this struggle? Are you really down with the movement? Because if that is a challenge for you, then I'm unsure if you're in the right place. So find an African American person. The white people, I see you. I see every single one of you. And I remember your faces. You find that African American person and you give them $10. Cash App, Venmo, $10 in your pocket. That's my challenge to you. Do it.
All right, so I just gotta say, the people who are involved in this, okay, your utopia is taking over, and exactly what a lot of people told you from a very long time is happening. All right, when there's a power vacuum, someone is going to fill it. Now, this is a racially charged movement. You cannot say it's not, because it really is. All right, and now that they have been put in the pedestal, all right, of victimhood and everything, now they're making sure that the white people that oppress them, now they're the ones that have to pay reparations. And the funny thing is that it's the same people that supports them. All right, so what I'm going to put on the screen is a tweet of a person that said the following. I genuinely don't understand why we don't just round up all the white people in CHAZ and put them to work tending the crops and other such things. Things would be far more efficient with a large workforce, and it would act as a way of keeping the white menace under control. We can have an armed supervisor to watch over them as they work, so there's no risk of any racist backlash. All right, so that is just outrageous. That is just outrageous to me, because the whole purpose of the movement was about racism. All right, and it was about slave reparations, like they were talking about, give everyone $10. And they're doing this to the people that support them. All right, it would be one thing if they did it to the opposite people who are against them, but no, they're doing it to the same people who are supporting them. All the Antifa and all the other white people that are there on their behalf. Now they're talking about, for one, taking money from them, in reparations. Everybody gets $10, and you heard the video of the guy, what he was saying. And now they're talking about rounding up all the white people, pretty much make them force them to work, which would be the slave thing that they're against, right? And on top of that, they would have an armed supervisor, so there's no uprise. That is why you must pay attention and you must see what is going on. All right, this has nothing to do with George Floyd. This is a problem that has been brewing all the United States for a very long time. Now, I want to encourage all those people who think that pandering to this is going to somehow make you a hero. It's obviously not. And it's pretty sad that an immigrant like me, all right, I have more love for the country than the people who were born in it. I want to protect it more than the people who were born in it. They want to tear it down. They're tearing down the statues. They're tearing down properties. They're tearing down the history. All right. Everything is being turned over by the very same people who were born in the United States. And there's immigrants like me who want to come here and keep it, you know, because we know this is a great country. The standard of living is very, very good compared to other places that we come from. All right. And when we tell you that you do not understand all the blessings that you have, we really mean it, because the social support that people have, and the standard of living that you have, the resources that you have, you know, all the things that you have grown up to know, you know, just the simple fact that you turn on the faucet and water flows pretty much unlimited, that is a blessing that other countries do not have, especially countries like people like me that come from. So stop tearing down your own country. Stop doing that, all right? And just build it up. You tearing down statues, you burning places up, that's not how you change your country. If you really wanted to change your country, you would get into the office of whatever it is. You were born here. You could work your way up to be president, all right? But I'm pretty sure that along the way, you'll become just as corrupted as all the people that we complain about in the parties. But the point is, do not tear your own country apart, because the consequences of doing that are going to be far worse. And you are living it, Seattle. You are living it. And hopefully this message will go out to everyone out there, and they will realize that tearing down your own country is not going to bring a change. Not the change that you want. Not a better America, as you say. You're going to bring, you know, despair and disaster to yourselves. All right, I want to move on to the next thing now that I went to a long rant. Truck drivers reject delivering to cities with defunded or disbanded police. This is also from Zero Hedge. A popular trucking app called CDL Live polled its users Thursday and found an overwhelming number of drivers would not pick up, deliver to cities with defunded, disbanded police departments. On Saturday afternoon, 1,212 users on the tracking app responded to the poll, with 79% say they will not deliver loads to lawless cities. Truck drivers have been on the front line of the global pandemic. These folks move 68% of all freight tonnage in the U.S. So if riots and defunding police cause drivers to reject loads and even form a protest of their own, then say hello to the domestic supply chain disruptions. Or better yet, no V-shaped recovery or economic rebound this year. All right, so that's why when I started talking about the prepping, that's why I told the people that you need to go ahead and stock up on your food and water if you have not already, Seattle and the surrounding area, because if they do not deliver the groceries to your local grocery stores, you're going to starve. All right, now, I don't know if that's a move that the government is just waiting on for all this to die on its own because, you know, they will not have any food and water. But the point is that if they somehow they keep going and people of CHAZ, they do get the resources that they need, you know, through food and water and everything, whether it's donated to them by outside people or it's just being stolen from stores and warehouses, as we've seen videos of, you know, and people being extortioned, I think I said that right, into giving people money for security. All right. And even though they would just come in and take the food anyways. But the point is that if they stop delivering to Seattle and the surrounding area, people there are going to go hungry, and there's going to be even bigger anger. All right. So that's why that is my plea to you in Seattle and other places to prepare. Please share this message with them, because I cannot do it on my own. You know, send the message out there. It has to be shared. It has to be liked and subscribed so other people can see those things. you know, so the algorithm will pick it up and show the video, and this message can get out there. Now, this is going to be my last headline for the night. And this is why I'm telling you, you have about 19 days to prepare if you have not already. Not just in Seattle or Washington, but all throughout the United States. Here's the headline. Bikers for Trump plan punitive expedition to reconquer CHAZ for the United States. This from nationalfile.com. It's a Facebook event purportedly run by Bikers for Trump invites motorcycles enthusiasts from around the United States to descend on the Seattle Capitol Hill Autonomous Zone and reconquer the territory for the United States in what may be described as a punitive expedition into the sovereign country. I probably said that wrong. But anyways, Bikers for Trump led a coalition that already has prominent groups of the American West Coast pledging to join together to recapture the autonomous zone and claim that they had no right to illegally secede from the United States and form their own six-block nation. The punitive expedition is scheduled for July 4th, 2020, the United States Independence Day. It is unknown if this day holds significance to CHAZ. The event also claims that the Oath Keepers, an American group of former military and law enforcement officers who pledged to uphold their oath to the U.S. Constitution, will be part of their expedition. Additionally, Super Happy Fun America, an organization famous for hosting straight pride parades, is involved as an attendee. All right, so that's why I'm saying that this could lead to a civil war, because we know how armed people in CHAZ is. All right, and all throughout this, I'm pretty sure I edited a video of how CHAZ is, or Raz, he's handing out guns to kids, you know, out of a trunk of a car. Right, he's handing out guns. We know that they have ARs and they have other types of rifles. Okay, but if Oath Keepers and Bikers for Trump and all those other people come in to retake the autonomous zone, they are going to be confronted with people with guns, right? And all of these people that I'm talking about, Bikers for Trump, Oath Keepers, and everyone else, more than likely, they're going to come with the guns of their own. So here's the question, all right? And this is the thing that we have to look for. What could happen if the government doesn't do anything and they went to July 4th and then we have this clash between the two citizens or two citizenry, whatever, all right? Will they step in and do something about it and break it up, or would they just let it go? Or will they, you know, handle whatever it is that they're trying to handle with CHAZ, and then they bring it back into the United States and avoid the whole conflict that may come the 4th of July, you know, being a Saturday this year? Or what's going to happen? All right. So you as a prepper, or you as a prepper enthusiast, or you're thinking about being a prepper right now, all right? Right now is the best time for you to take the data on what's going on how a vacuum of power is going to create tyranny, on how armed individuals who more than likely, or it seems to be, there are criminals, they have the guns. So don't let the government take the guns away from you, all right? And what you can do if this comes to your city, because we've seen this play out, and it wants to be played out in other cities as well. There was rumors about the same thing happening in Nashville, and the governor said, heck no, it's not going to happen here. All right, but why do they do have another autonomous zone throughout the United States in other cities, right? Let's say Texas. You know, what about Houston, Texas, or any other city that was previously red but now it's blue? What would happen? That's why you must prepare. That's why you must pay attention to what's going on. All right. So I hope you stay till the end. I know this was a longer video than the usual, but everything that I've talked about is very, very important. All right. So please give me a like. Please share this video. Please subscribe to this channel, because I want to get this information out to everyone. And this information is free. You know, this book is free as well. Remember, go to Preppers Secrete Cache, or www.preppersecretcache.com. Order the book from there. It's free, or just click the link below. Also, I want to let you know that I have that we have launched the Amendment Survival Store. You go to the amendmentsurvivalstore.com and you can see the products that we have on there. The bug out bag that you see behind me is on there, all right? And people in Seattle who are going to bug out, or anyone else all throughout the United States, this is going to be an essential bag for you to have for you and your family, because if you're going to have to leave on foot, this is exactly what you need in order for you to survive, all right? And then we have other stuff in store as well. So again, prepare, watch out for what's coming, and always be ready.